Good evening. My name's Steve Marvel. This is Crucial Survival. I am a survival and rescue specialist, and today I'm going to be answering some questions from Reddit. There is a survival subreddit, and so what I've done is I've searched for in the subreddit, how do I? And let's see, some of them have got images, so it doesn't really work. So let's just start at the top. How do I navigate dense bamboo? Well, I tell you what, bamboo is an absolute nightmare of a substance. It's incredibly useful and can be used for all sorts of things: shelter, fire, cooking, water carrying, loads and loads of things. Roofing, really good roofing. But it is hard as nails. Bamboo grows in the east, and that's like a hard jungle. And in the west, you get these sort of wet, leafy jungles. And in the wet, leafy jungle, you can bash through with a big old flat machete. In the east, you have to use a sort of parang, sort of heavy, sharpened machete, which you would have to sharpen often. Something to remember about bamboo, which is very, very important, is that it grows very, very slowly, and it grows through itself, and consequently builds up over time masses of tension, masses and masses of tension. And so it might be the case that you cut through, especially if you're swinging your parang or whatever, you cut through what might be an innocuous looking piece of bamboo, but that might flip, that might cause other things to flip. And it's an environment which is very, very dangerous. And so to answer the question, how do you navigate through bamboo? It's hard enough to navigate, like in any case. Like navigating generally is pretty difficult. However, trying to navigate through something that is hard as nails is just going to be incredibly tiring. So it's going to take a long, long time, and you might have to go around things. So super, super good compass navigation is what's required, but your main concern is safety. How do I get started, and how did you get started? I bought Lofty Wiseman's book at 13. That was a long time ago. What's that, 34 years ago? And that's exactly where I started. I'll do a great big thing about how I started, but he says here, so how do I get started with survival? Is survival basically something like backpacking? No, it fucking isn't. Bushcraft is like backpacking. Survival is about learning skills that could save your life. Backpacking is an environment in which you could get in the shit. However, survival is what to do when you're out of the shit. And consequently, survival is about understanding the shit you could get in and the preparing. Recently, I was answering a question on one of the groups on Facebook about someone who was saying, well, what should go in your survival kit if you're hiking? It's people like, oh, no, you should have this sort of knife and this sort of compass and this sort of first aid kit. It's like, you bloody better have those already. If you're going hiking without a map, compass, first aid kit, and all of this, then you are. Oh, this was said that it was going to be miles from anywhere. And it's like, holy Moses, if you've not got a compass and a map and a first aid kit, then you're insane. the reality is the things that you want to take with you are associated with prolonged staying out, getting lost. And if you take the survival principles of rescue skills and staying alive skills, rescue is about emergency. So it's about PLBs, it's about signaling, it's about whistles, it's things like that. And staying alive is about not getting cold. Normally speaking, it's about not getting cold. So survival, how you get into survival, is to understand what can go wrong and how to compensate for those things that could go wrong. And it might be that you had to manufacture certain things because you don't want to carry them. If you're just hiking, you don't want to necessarily carry a tent. You might carry a bothy, I do. But yeah, manufacturing skills, survival craft skills, on top of understanding the environment you're going to find yourself in and the survival situations that might lend to you. Right. How do you survive in the northern wilderness? I live in Sweden. Right. It's going to get fucking cold. Okay. Basically, it's going to get cold and all you've got is pine trees. So if you're going to go hiking, prepare for cold and colder and know the weather forecast. Know how to light a fire, carry tinder, because if it snows and everything gets wet, then it's a really, really big ball ache. So given the changeable weather in these northern places, if you get snapped into cold weather, foggy weather, or the like, you need to be able to light a fire as soon as possible, because that is likely to be the first thing that's going to kill you and the thing that's going to be difficult to do in the snow and the dark or whatever. In terms of rescue being priority, I'd be basically looking for a PLB, because if you get into snow, to travel in the snow, it was so difficult. Self-rescue can be very, very difficult. So you want to be rescued, and you want to be rescued now, if you don't mind awfully. So personal location beacon and practice at signal fires, smoke and flame are going to be a good bit of work. How do I make a shelter clean and comfy? Don't put dirt in it. It's essentially, this is about keeping yourself off the ground. If you've had a tent, you will know that you just get this boggy horribleness outside the tent. When you take your shoes off, you're pretty much all right. But going in and out with shoes on, which is a normal thing to do in a shelter, you're just going to get the place muddy. So if you think about farmhouse has got this room in which you need to get your boots off. So it's all about being strict. Your arse is unlikely to be muddy, so it's okay. You're allowed to sit down, but you're not allowed to sit down cross-legged with your boots all muddy. So it's a little bit of forethought about the fact that you're going to make mud a thing, and you want to try and work out how to not get that to spread. You could put some things, leaves, etc., on there. So the other thing is comfy, and that is you can just lay leaves on the ground, like bracken and stuff on the ground, but it gets muddy, just like moving around. So you need to create a layer of twigs and branches. However, that can be a bit knobbly sometimes, and still cold because you're still to the ground. So the reality of what you need to do is you need to start with nice big. This is how you insulate yourself from the ground anyway. Create nice big branches crossed with smaller sticks and leaves off lawn. You've now got about this much space you can sit up from there. You're not going to get your boots on there, and that's how you create a clean and comfy shelter. How do I find a good, reputable survival school? Don't believe the hype. That's how. Marketing. People are very, very good at marketing. There's a lot of crap in the world that's marketed really, really well. I'm not saying that all the things that are marketed really well are crap, but there's a great deal of crap. Now, the problem with the reputation of survival schools is that most people only go on one survival course, and they think it's great because it's something they've not done, especially city dwellers. They'll go into the woods, they'll make a shelter, they make a fire, they eat fish, and they think it's amazing. But most people can do that, provide that level of tuition. What people can't do is provide tuition against experience. It's very, very difficult because that school, if that school is very good at pumping out their comments, if you like, give us a comment, If it's just something that people haven't done, then they're going to think it's great. I've got a great comment on my website or Yale, I can't remember. It's from somebody who's been on 2 courses, and they thought my course was amazing compared to the first course. And that's because I've got lots of experience. That's because I've got a background in rescue. I've got experience outdoors. I've been trained outdoors, and I've been teaching outdoors for years. I really know what I'm talking about. I don't believe the hype. I research things. So, how do you find a good survival school? You really have to find one. You have to research the survival instructors, and that's you've got things like Bear Grylls Survival Academy, but the reality is these guys, a lot of them have only just been taught how to teach. Some people, it's another thing that's a problem, is some people know things, but they don't know how to teach. I did 5 years teaching in school. I've done training within the RNLI, obviously, since I've been teaching outdoors. And I'm blowing my own trumpet, I know, but these are things you need to ask about the survival school. If it was my school and you came to me and you said, I would like to know about my instructors, because it might not be me. I am at the moment only one person in assistance, but it might be that the tutor that you have might be a noob. There is a particularly big survival school company in the UK that trains survival instructors and then puts them to work. And that's not how it works. It really, really isn't. So understanding that though it might be a great school, because some of the tutors are very good, the tutor that you might get is not. So how do I find a good school? That's one thing. How do I find a good course strokes teacher? Is another. You need to know and trust the person that is teaching, and you have to be prepared to go to more than one, and you need to research these people by, say, watching my videos, watching videos of different survival instructors and schools. And yeah, the answer to the question is research. I'm going to do one more. How do I make my backpack stay quiet? That is a hiking pro question, and that is about packing. How do I get good at camouflaging my tent in the forest? Buy a green one. How do I make a fairly cheap bow? I'm going to do a whole thing about bows and the fallacy of making bows. How do I make a bowl that won't burn? Make it out something that's not flammable. This is just what. Here's a quick one. How do I insulate my hammock from underbreeze? I know it's not a survival question, but it is survival oriented. So, how do I insulate my hammock from underneath? What's happening is that people are hammocking and they're getting cold on their back, and the reason it is because the sleeping bag is compressing, and the wind. And I did a thing about wind the other day. The wind is blowing any amount of warm air away. So they're conducting all of their heat to the air. And the answer to the question is more insulation, where insulation is defined as not compressed anything, because insulation is about air and trapped air. So there are two ways of doing it. One is within the hammock, is you put something that is aerated, like your kip mat, and the other is to have something under the hammock. They call it an under blanket, in fact, which is insulated and is not compressed. So you need the air. So you can take any old fluffy thing on underneath, and the alternative is to put something that's insulating on the top. And I've done talks about insulation before. I'll do them again, no doubt. But that is the answer. And so there are all of my Reddit answers for today. I'll do them again if everybody likes me doing Reddit, Stack Exchange, whatever it might be. Or if you have questions of your own, then pop them in the comments and I will endeavor to answer them for you. In fact, I will answer them for you. I'm creating my own subreddit. It will be a subreddit of Crucial Survival, where I will ask and answer any question that you have, and here in comments and on Facebook and on YouTube, or directly if you like. Or there's men, just find me and I'll answer your question. I'll do videos about things if required. And so until next time, I shall speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye.
Hello again. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, because when you do so, you will not only ensure that you miss nothing, but your questions and comments will benefit the channel and enhance each episode for everybody. I'll see you in the next one, and in the meantime, keep well, stay at home and save lives.